Hello everyone, this is Betsy from Ideas Times 2, and today I have a flip through for you. This journal is for sale in our Etsy shop, and I'll leave the link for that down below. It is also a design team project for nevermorecreations17.com, and I'll leave the link for Lindsay's shop down below, as well as the link for the kit that I used, which is entitled Something Blue. So this journal has a blue theme, and I will point out Lindsay's pages as we go along. Her shop she has journals, journal supplies, digikits, printed digikits, and she has lots of business partners in on her shop, and so I'm sure when you go there you'll find something you love. So the journal, it is 5 1/4 by 8 inches. The spine is about 1.5 inches. It's a rounded hidden spine, and the back is plain. The cover is made from embossed wallpaper, and I used some ink techniques on it and sealed it with sealer. So that's what the pattern is on there. And it's not like a wooden hardcover, but it's very hard. It's layered up with chipboard and some fabric, and the wallpaper itself is pretty thick, so it's a pretty sturdy cover. All right, and then it has a wraparound closure, which starts from an eyelet here on the spine, and then it just wraps, and then it tucks with a charm dangle to keep it in place. I think there are about 5 different charms in there. It has a book plate, which is metal, and the image in there is from my stash, and then I just use glossy accents to fill it in so it looks like a glass medallion. All right, and as I mentioned, this just wraps around, so I wrapped it around a couple times just to sort of give it a loose knot, and then it unwraps like that. So basically we have just a blue theme going here. This is fabric. The spine also, the hidden spine is Craftex and fabric, so it's very sturdy hidden spine. This is the paper from Lindsay's Something Blue kit paper pack. Isn't it pretty? It's so pretty, all these beautiful blue roses. So you'll be seeing those throughout the whole journal. So this front cover does not have a pocket, but the back cover does have a pocket right here, and so I will be filling that with something. I just hadn't, well, okay, I forgot, but I will put something in that pocket. But it's a nice large pocket. All right, so all of these papers are just from my stash right here. This is from a botanical book, and there's a ticket I used for a tab. We've got grid paper, so all the papers are white. They're not stained with coffee or tea. This is a little cluster here. Here is an ephemera piece from Susan Brown Taylor, Poppiness. She had a bird kit, and so that is, I have a couple of things from her kit, and it was all blue as well, and so some of the blues went really well in here, so I did kind of pick and choose some things out of her kit as well. These are papers from my stash. We have stenciling, little washi tape here, some ink spray. This is from Lindsay's Something Blue. There's side collaging. I have inked up an envelope, and inside we have some journal cards, just some paper from my stash. And that just gets tucked on here on the edge with a clip. This is a botanical page from my stash, and this is cabbage stained paper. It'll fold out for journaling. There's silk gathered here on the edge. This is one of the papers from Lindsay's paper pack. There's from a bird book. I have a page from that. Some stenciling here. It says the word blue with a little swoosh. Here's handmade, it's waxed tracing paper with some ink treatments, and I made that. Here's a doily that's inked up a little bit. Here's a Franken pocket with, this is a napkin that I decoupaged onto this tag. and just put some eyelash trim for the tie up there. Here's another page from Lindsay's paper. Some stenciling there. The inside or the middle of the signature paper from my stash. There's more stenciling. This is the other side of that paper from Lindsay's pack. So pretty. So this is just collaged up a little bit, and then this is some drawing paper. I can't remember exactly what they called it, but it has an interesting pattern. It's got a grid and some angled lines. And I did a little, there's gesso on here and some stamping with music stamp on that. The other part of the doily and the handmade tracing paper. Here's the other part of the book page. That's from Lindsay's paper. There's grid paper. Here's a little cluster up there, a pocket made out of an index card, and a beautiful tag. This is from Gecko Gals. I think that might be the only from Gecko Gals. I think this is also from Gecko Gals too. So I have a couple things from them as well in here. This is just an offcut from my tracing paper, wax paper. This is from a page from Lindsay's Something Blue. And just miscellaneous things, little tag, another little tag, and some tickets. This is the Tim Holtz slotted die. This is sort of like envelope fold up, or it's collaged here, and it sort of looks like an envelope, like thank you card type style, but it opens up, and then I have a couple of tags in here. I'm just using paper from my stash, some eyelash trim and ribbon trim sort of combined on those. And then I had just tucked it over the top of the page like that. Alright, so these short pages are the other side of the ones that you've seen already. I made a pocket in this one, and then it just has some paper from my stash. This one folds out, and this one is just a plain blue one. And those just get tucked right in there. Little stenciling on that grid paper. This is cabbage stained paper with stitching. And look, they look so pretty together. This is the end of the first signature and the beginning of the second signature. So they're just so pretty together, and they're lighting up that page. So here's a pocket I made. It is out of a plastic bag. So I just made an angled pocket out of that. Did a little collaging here. This is from a botanical book, or it's actually a butterfly book. And I just made that on a blue cardstock tag. Paper from my stash. Here is an inspection record tag. It's a very sturdy tag, and it's all collaged up here, and I have a butterfly image from my stash. I think that may be a Gecko Gals image. This is some more stenciling on here. I had planned on putting a bird on here, but I kind of liked the way it looked, so I left it. But this is decoupage napkin on here with some inking from Lindsay's paper. This is more silk that is gathered on the edge there, more stenciling. Paper from my stash. Here's a fabric flip. So we've got muslin up here and eyelash trim, and I just cut around this image this way, and if you lift it up, there's a little pocket with a tiny tag in it. Paper from Lindsay, a little stenciling. Here's a little cluster, just blue lace that I had, and a little snippet of this fabric here that's lining the book. Here's an envelope. I put a little thumb grab there. It has it's a little bit of a layered up cover, and it's just a little booklet with a simple pamphlet stitch, and I just slipped that right in there. It's a little glue spot there. There's some ribbon stitched onto the top there. This is from Lindsay's paper. Here is from the butterfly book, and this page has all blue butterflies, so I thought that was lots of fun for inside in the center. More of the kit. This is the other side of the envelope. This is the envelope flap, and I just attached it onto a piece of cardstock. There's some washi tape there. Here's an envelope with a little cluster. I put a piece of cardstock in the window, and it does have a side pocket, a side loading pocket. So in here, this is from Poppiness, Susan Taylor Brown, envelope from her kit, and I just put in a piece of cabbage stained paper, so that just folds out like that. And I put a nice giant, if I can get that in there, a giant tab on there with some string. And the way I had done this was to keep the flap, and it flips up like this, and I just kept the flap out just to give it a decorative sort of look here. So there's some paper from my stash with stitching around it, and then under here, the other part of this is actually a long envelope, so I flipped it, I glued this part down. But I kept it open. You'll see in a second. Yeah, I kept it open, but so I glued around this edge here and put a little stenciling there and a little index card collaged tag. And then in the very back is open, and so I put a little sari silk trimmed cardstock journaling card in there. Journaling card or tag, and it goes down pretty far, but just enough to keep the sari silk poking out the top. So it has three little pockets in there, and this this image is glued underneath, so it doesn't come out. All right, so here's some side collaging and stenciling on this side. Another one of the beautiful pages. This is some paper I had from my stash, and I just fussy cut around these roses and made it into a tuck spot, and these papers are also from my stash. I'm sort of getting every sort of hue of blue that I could find. This is from my stash. Then there's grid paper. Here's a corner stencil. Paper from Lindsay. There's a little bit of a cluster there, and then I made a side pocket. So here's some ephemera pieces in there. This is from a botanical book. And then I did some stitching of lines to sort of like a grungy sort of messy sort of look to it, but fun and lots of textures, so I thought that was kind of fun. So here are these little envelopes. They do open. I have them tied shut with embroidery thread, and I didn't leave the envelopes on. I glued the envelopes. They're actually envelopes, but they have some tiny little, these are actually domino images, so that you can glue them right on dominoes and make jewelry. But I just used them to tuck into this little envelope. I'm going to leave that so you don't have to watch me tie that. And then this envelope also has two images, so either blue flowers or blue background on those images. So those are like that. Here is a side tuck, and I made a large tag. Well, it's actually not a large tag, but it's fat, right? It's a chunky tag. So I have some stamping on there, dragonflies on one side, and some alphabet and swoosh swirly stamp on that side, and that's the end. And look at this beautiful, beautiful paper. All right, so as I had mentioned already, let's see if I can find a piece of paper real quick. This is a pocket right here. So I will either put some journaling cards or some collaged up cards in there, or a large tag or something. I'll put something in there for the person who would like to purchase this journal. This is not a pocket. It sort of looks like this would be a double pocket, but that is glued down onto the hinge So that is it for this journal. I hope you enjoyed that and maybe got some ideas. If you have any questions, just leave a comment and I will be happy to answer any questions. And I think that is it. So bye for now. Take care, everybody. As Cindy mentioned in her last video, we're climbing up to a 2,000 mark of subscribers to our YouTube channel. So once we get to 2,000, we will be having a giveaway. So if you haven't subscribed, that would be a great way to help us inch toward 2,000, and you that way you can stay tuned for our giveaway as well. So take care, and we will talk to you later. Goodbye.